Hello everyone, Sean with Shertzerbookkeeping here again for another video in our tax series. Today we're covering the W-2 form, Form W-2, that is required for all employers to file and send to their employees by January 31st. So coming up here, I am recording this near the end of January. So they just have about a week or so left before those are due. So, what is the W-2? Well, first we need to go back to, if you're an employee watching this, back to your W-4 form. Maybe your employer had you fill this out electronically, so it may not have looked like this, but this is the print version that you would fill out if it was printed out, or they just used this one anyway. So based on the information you give them here, based on any credits or adjustments to your withholdings, they use this information to determine how much federal tax to withhold out of your gross wages. So let's say you were hired on for $20 per hour and you worked a week, 40-hour week, so that's $800. Minus taxes, maybe you had a net of $600 for the week. So when I say net, that means the gross minus the taxes. Now, there's a lot more involved. Because depending on your state, here in California we do have a state income tax, so those would be taken out as well. And there's other taxes more than just federal, but I'm just focusing on the federal for these videos. So once they take the information from the W-4, they withhold a certain amount of your money for taxes to remit to the government. Now, all of that information will be provided on the W-2 form at the end of the year, or in this case, by January 31st of any given year. The W-2 is going to look somewhat like this. This is the IRS print version of the W-2. As long as it has all the information, there are, depending on your payroll provider, or depending on the employer's payroll provider, it could look differently, but all of them do have all the information that is needed to submit to the IRS, including their employer identification number, the employer's name, all this information. Box 1 is going to be your gross wages. Again, so in that example I just gave, $20 an hour, you work 1 week, $800. If that was all you worked, then $800 would go here. So federal income tax, let's say you only had federal tax withheld. For an easy example, that would be, let's say, $200 in our example. The $200 would be here, and that's how much tax was withheld. Basically, you're paying the government already. And then you've got Social Security wages, Social Security tax withheld. That's a whole nother calculation. That's part of why I said that it's not as simple as 800 minus 200 equals 600. There are other taxes taken out. But those would all be right here. Social Security wages, Medicare wages, depending on the employer, depending on what benefits you have through your employer. These numbers, boxes 1, 3, and 5, may all add up. They may be the same amount for all those boxes, but if they're not, it's nothing to worry about. And then the rest of these boxes may or may not be filled out depending on your situation. And down here, state ID number, state wages, state income tax. Sometimes this state wages are different than the wages up here. It can get complicated. That's not for this video, but just know that there are going to be numbers here most likely, and they could be different. Okay. So that is what you should be expecting from your employer. They do have until January 31st to file these and send them out to you. So I would expect by early February, you should be receiving these if you don't before then. And just always remember, you can always come to the IRS website and search for anything you want. So let's say you were checking about a Form W-2. So let's search for Form W-2. So this is going to tell you, here we go, about Form W-2 wage and tax statement. So you can read through all of this. This will tell you about it all. Instructions for, so this is the instructions for the W-2, and it does tell you all about it. You can read through it if you want. So if you have any questions, or if you would like to have a tax professional, such as myself, do your taxes for you, please reach out. I will put my contact information down below, and have a great day. And I will see you next week.